No, that was for me. Well, I don't need to introduce him. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Manu Bennet. Quite tough in that. I've got to say, he's just a really nice guy, this bloke. He comes and says that. Did anyone see the haka? How good was the haka?
I don't think this is working.
That one's on.
It's not loud.
Can you hear?
I can't really hear myself. Can you hear it?
What mic is
it's not a good one.
What mic?
It's not a good one.
Do you want this one?
Is that better?
Yeah!
Okay, very good.
No one wants to hear me anyway.
Oh, there's an art to it. You've got to go like this. I get it now. It's ice cream time.
You can. What was that? Was that spectacular on stage yet? On the video? You was in The Hobbit, like we were discussing out on stage earlier. What's it like getting up every day and getting just in a motion cap suit and working with people like Peter Jackson?
Oh, you know, it was a really amazing result to a pretty full-on year. You know, we just sort of we were coming toward the end of Spartacus, and you know that journey had just been such a enriching kind of experience for me as an actor and a person. You know, in New Zealand, you know, we had a very passionate team of people who all worked together to make this wonderful show, Spartacus, and it was coming toward an end, and I was starting to feel this kind of loneliness of leaving these people and going on to something else. But I wasn't quite sure what it was going to be, and just how that, what I knew would be the void of life after Crixus, how that would be filled. And you know, I don't know. I get a phone call from my manager who says, you know, Peter Jackson wants you to play Azog, you know, in The Hobbit, and that. I mean, it really just blew my mind. I ended up going down to Wellington, flying down to Wellington, and being in this incredibly modern and technical kind of studio. And you know, there's these computers everywhere, and basically everyone's saying Peter Jackson's going to be here in 30 minutes. 5 minutes later, Peter Jackson's going to be here in 25 minutes. It was like this countdown, and you're about to meet Allah. I hope that's not rude, but what I mean is, it's like you expect Peter Jackson to be this, you know, but instead in walks this short man with no shoes on, you know, and he comes in and he says, Manu, nice to meet you, I like your work on Spartacus. Now you're going to go out and these guys are going to put this outfit on you and we're going to create Azog. So, you know, being taken from Spartacus into a show like that was really kind of like I don't know, for me it was the cherry on top of an incredible sort of 4 years of acting. But you know, when I actually did the green screen motion capture for Azog, you know, I mean, I'm standing with a bodysuit on with these. How motion capture works, and this is a fascinating thing. See, as an actor, you usually stand in front of a camera, like that camera up there, and it's shooting me like from here to here or whatever, and that's all you get as a frame, and that's what the editor has to choose, you know, and then they'll shoot another shot that's in close, and all these separate shots will be edited, cut together. With motion capture, they put you in a suit that has these little balls on where your joints are, and then they have little tiny balls around your face that capture the movement of your face. And then you go stand in a studio where there's like these sensors, motion sensors, all around the wall. And when you move, they capture you completely in the 360 degrees. So if I was to do one take, and that take was a perfect fight scene, which it almost was, because they got me off Spartacus and they knew that I could fight. So, you know, when I had to get Arzog's Warhammer and sort of beat this poor stunt guy to a pulp, you know, because he was playing foreign open shields, I was like whacking him with this kind of like mace prop. You know, we got that scene in 2 takes. You know, on a film set, in reality it would have taken two weeks. But literally we shot it in about an hour because, you know, doing that fight sequence with those motion capture sensors around you, you can take that scene from any angle you want because it's covered in that complete space. Do you understand what I mean? I mean, that sort of technology is just fascinating. And then what it's doing is it's capturing a skeletal rendition of my performance. And so they then, the graphics guys then take the animated vision of Arzog and they put it on me like a suit. You know, I mean, I could be in makeup and a suit, but instead it's like a computer graphics outfit that they put on that makes me a 9-foot orc. So all of the movements of that 9-foot orc and all the facial expressions are captured from motion capture. And then after that you go into an ADR studio and you make the voice. And you know, for Arzog, it was interesting because they were just using like things like leopard growls and synthesizing it through the and then they drop my voice about 10 notes. So here's my voice as deep as I can get it. Then we go, that kind of sort of depth to it. And in a way, doing the voice was like playing an instrument because when I was speaking, it was a certain tone. But like, you know, my voice is say a trumpet, so I know how to play the trumpet. But Arzog was like a trombone, and it was like I had to work out how to use his voice down deep. It was an interesting process. Yeah.
What language did he speak?
Well, he spoke something called black speech. Sorry, man, I distance myself. Yeah, he spoke something called black speak, which is something that is spoken about in The Hobbit. But you know, they got a couple of dialogue people in there to sort of work a whole Bible, you know, a whole sort of you know, book on what black speech would be in all different words. They made up a whole bunch for the movie, but yeah.
It wasn't good. Now, is Spike's finished now? You finished on that?
Yeah. Who watched the last episode? Yeah.
Who wants more?
Yeah. You know that Superman watched it. Yay! You got it.
Now we've noticed you're scared now, aren't you? Yes. Poor little thing.
Okay.
So was it tough? I mean, like you said, it's like a big family on a show like Spartacus, and you finish filming, and it's time to go home. Like I said, there's a big empty gap. Luckily, obviously, you had the call from Jackson to go and do this other stuff. I mean, do you still speak to the other guys from Spartacus and get together and have barbecues and hang out?
Yeah, sure. Look, I mean, a lot of actors, sort of, you know, in a cast, we have opportunities to hang out. But I mean, you work so much together that, you know, you've got your own life as well. So I mean, you spend like, you know, 8 hours a day together. So you know, you get together on social occasions, but pretty much, you know, like I like to live in society. I don't like to live in the Hollywood actor world. It's not really sort of my scene. I'd rather be sitting here looking at you guys, especially some of the people from the local area, and appreciating the culture and you know, the way you live here in your country. And I find that fascinating. You know. Yeah.
When you're making a program like Spartacus, are you aware of the international appeal? I mean, you know, the people in the Middle East absolutely love it.
Yeah, you know, I think with our show that we had so many kind of nationalities represented in various characters throughout our show that there didn't seem to be any sort of contemporary bias to any of the characters. You know, there just seemed to be this great sort of hope that the good of individual characters who you became tied to in some emotional way would see that person, you know, to some sort of freedom. And the tragedy is that none of us do. Basically, the storyline, nobody makes it out. But it's just the hope and the desire of humans working together to try to gain some sort of sense of self-worth and whatnot that has made that story last since 74 BC, you know. But, you know, I mean, my actual death scene, you know, in the series was something that, you know, T.J. Scott, the director, you know, for those of you who've seen it, you know, I literally watched it in America, you know, a couple of weeks ago or a week ago or something, you know, on television in real time with everybody else who would have been watching it. And, you know, I have to take my hands off, my hat off to T.J. Scott. I mean, that last shot in Navy's eye was just a piece of, it was just a wonderful piece of directing and a choice. And I couldn't have hoped to have gone out on a higher note, really, than that scene, you know, and, you know, but elements like the music, like, I don't know how many of you noticed the music that was playing during that final scene, you know. Joe LaDuca, you know, the composer for our series, just wrote, I mean, that piece of music was haunting. You know, I keep on playing it back myself. I keep on playing it back because I just look at it, and I don't sort of look at it so much as just my performance at the end of Crixus, but I look at it in terms of how our conductors, the conductors of our show, finish this sort of this opera of Crixus, you know, and Navia, you know, they just conducted it beautifully, you know, and you know, it was just time for me to take my bow.
So how does it feel when you watch that scene where you die?
You know, it's something. Look, the reason why I became an actor, I'll let you in on an inside kind of story.